How's it going, everybody? My name's Warner Fields with Fields of Profit. Today I'm here with my friend Andrew, who is crushing it on Amazon. He's doing about $150,000 in the last 30 days. We're also going to talk about some super important stuff in terms of account deactivation, Section 3, some super hot topics in the community lately. But if you just want to introduce yourself, Andrew, I know you've been on the channel previously, but just talk about how you got into Amazon, how you ended up in this world, and we'll really get into the nitty gritty.
Yeah, no, like Warner said, I started out from an earlier video. I started out with used books and doing that for a couple of years, then hopping on the OA train, scaling that to pretty much to where we are at right about now.
Awesome. Yeah. And with these big name brand products, sometimes some of these brands like us selling their products, sometimes they don't. And you actually had a run in with that, right? So can you talk about what happened with your Amazon account and what kind of happened with your Section 3 complaint?
Yeah, no, it wasn't necessarily the branding, the brand coming after me. It was more so the mislabeling of those brands that landed us and a lot of other people in a lot of trouble with the Section 3 stuff. So yeah, they hit me with the Section 3 complaint, wanting to see documentation and everything about just to make sure that it was a legit product that you were selling.
For sure. Yeah. So what you're talking about there, where you're talking about the misbranding on the listing, I assume the brand was something other than the actual brand of the product you were looking at. Is that kind of what happened?
Yeah, it was like a slight variation of it. And it wasn't like with some of the brands like Mac and stuff like that, where there's 5 or 4 different variations. It's like one product listed under one misbranded product, like a very unique type of situation.
So those listings, unfortunately, can be really good because they were made incorrectly and all that kind of thing. But that's one of the big reasons a lot of people have been getting those Section 3 complaints recently. So a big reason I wanted to make this video for you guys and talk how Andrew was able to beat his Section 3 is to take away those fears, remove the kind of the obstacle of I can't sell on Amazon because it's risky for this reason, right? So we're going to talk about how he was able to beat that. But when you're selling products, make sure that you are not selling those listings where it says brand generic or brand. I saw one that was like Express Commerce was the brand for some reason. It's like somebody's storefront name. That's one of the big reasons. We were also talking before, kind of hopped on here, that if you're drop shipping, that can also lead to a Section 3 termination, which is just if you have an item listed, whenever it sells, you just ship it directly from Walmart.com, for example. That's not allowed by Amazon. And that is actually breaking the rules, right? So if you're actually breaking the rules, this video does not apply to you. But if you're following the rules, what did they ask you for? What was the first step in the process to get your account reinstated?
Yeah, they just wanted to make it extremely clear that you are who you say you are. So they wanted valid proof of ID, bank statements, and in particular, bank statements highlighting the purchases that related to the products that you were selling, as far as the correct quantities as well. They really wanted to see that you own the product and that you like shipped it from your business residence. They were really hammering it down with the type of detail that they wanted. They wanted to see bill of landing. They wanted to see proof of delivery. They wanted to see just all of the above in regards to inventory ownership.
Gotcha. So on that first submission, you're submitting all those shipping documents, all the order confirmations, all that kind of stuff. Did they take that first submission?
No, yeah. I was like, oh, whatever. Amazon wants to see this. Like, they've been pretty lenient lately. I'll just throw a couple of documents their way and hopefully all goes well. And sure enough, it didn't. It took them over a week to respond. And then once that was the case, I was like, okay, yeah, I really got to take this seriously. And collected hundreds or probably up to 100 pages worth of documents to submit it just to really shove the information down.
You're just like, here's my entire business on a couple pieces of paper. Who could fake this kind of stuff? So just so we can have a nice little clean bullet pointed list. So when you're submitting that, so you got bill of lading documents, you got order confirmations, you've got any of that shipping confirmations, that kind of stuff going out from the prep centers, whatever it is. Was there any other documents that people watching this video, if they've got that complaint, that they should be submitting?
Yeah, what I did as well was I did just a separate document highlighting where the inventory was shipped from. If it was, say, it was purchased from Target or whatever, I would track down which Target location it was actually shipped from and then write down their address as the shipping address, as well as the business name and the actual product landing page itself. So just a couple of those sprinkled in there as well to go along with some of the official shipping and order confirmations.
Awesome. Yeah. So did you submit like all the documents that you had from your business from a certain time period, or what were the documents you did include?
As far as how many units were sold, like if you sold 100 units and they were all separated by 50 orders, like that's a long document, but it's necessary. You'd have to show exactly how much. It has to back up the amount that was sold or else they're going to deny it.
Yeah. And also, if you're in this boat and you're submitting documents, even if it's not as serious as a Section 3, there's a free extension I'll put you guys on. It's called Save Email to PDF. You just click your emails and then it compiles all that together in one clean document for you. Were you using anything like that, or are you just downloading a million different documents?
Yeah, I was downloading a lot of different documents.
Sure. Yeah.
The PDF, and then I was using a combination website to put everything together into one solid PDF. That was the most important part, I feel, to getting the appeal approved, was having it in one document. The advice from a lot of the legal services and stuff, they were telling me to have separate documents like here and there, but I was trying that several times beforehand, wasn't working. Threw it all into one PDF and was approved like 3 days later. So
interesting.
It was very important to have it all in one PDF.
That's cool. Yeah, that's good to know. I've always gone the volume approach with a lot of my submissions. It's, hey, you're 200 invoices for all this kind of stuff. Obviously, we're not faking it. So you had that first submission. You didn't take it super seriously or whatever it was. Did they ask you for documents on just those specific products? Is that what you ended up providing?
Yeah, just I had 2 ACEs they were asking about, so I only provided shipping, order confirmation, tracking information pertaining to those specific products.
Okay. And then on the second submission, did you submit more documents or was it still just those two products?
Yeah, so I panicked a little bit, so I was sending bits and pieces of information to the appeals address, and then I started overthinking about the fact that each email is going to count as one appeal, so they're gonna take one email that only has a couple documents to it, and I started sending a bunch of emails, ignore all the previous submissions and only listen to this one right now.
Gotcha, gotcha. So if you had to do it over again, it's compile it all in that second email if they didn't like the first one.
Seriously, the first time around.
Awesome. Yeah, yeah. So you started taking a little bit more seriously. So you're providing all those documentation. So especially if they asked you for like specific invoices, make sure you guys have all of that you can possibly prove. And all these products, to be clear, they were all online arbitrage purchases, right? They were all just from websites.
Yeah, they were all targets in one product.
Yeah, because that's another super common misconception is, oh, I have to use the wholesale invoices and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know if you've had much experience with that, but in my experience, like wholesale invoices have had like lower success rates for me, like trying to get authentics and stuff there. Yeah, it sounds like the same for you. So that's always really interesting. It's an interesting kind of conception of how people look at arbitrage and that kind of thing. So awesome. Did they take it on that second try after you submitted all the documents and all that?
No, the second time was a little bit of like bits and pieces of information. It was still lacking. I forget specifically what it was lacking. I think it was a quantity discrepancy that they didn't really account for. So I really went and dove back. And that's another important point is to have a proper, order tracking system and making sure that you have access to all of those orders that may or may not have taken place over the past year. So you can go back and found those orders that I was missing, tag that along with hammering down even more information that they probably didn't need. And on the third appeal, it finally got approved.
Awesome. That's fantastic news, getting the account back. I think a lot of other people are in the same boat where they were maybe fighting it for a couple weeks, that kind of thing, and they got their account back. It is frustrating that we can do this as more legit sellers, but super good that you're able to kind of power through that. So like you're saying, with all those documents, I wanted to just clarify that just submitting that third try, all you did was add more.
I really just hammered down, like I repeated information and submitted information in different ways and just to make sure that there was no way they were going to refuse it this time around.
Awesome. Yeah. Was there any kind of annotation on the invoices you did or anything special on the invoices for them to like them even more?
Yeah. When you receive the email, like with them requesting certain information from certain documents, I made sure to highlight the pieces that they were specifically looking for, like tracking and highlighting photographs of inventory being delivered at your prep center or at your home address or whatever.
Awesome. Yeah. And then you also mentioned the importance of having a tracking system with all these orders, right? So that's something I'm always harping on. If you get an IP complaint, you got to have it all backed up. How are you systemizing that? Have you changed how you're systemizing your orders after going through that? And what would you suggest to a new seller?
Yeah, not necessarily. I have a dedicated purchasing spreadsheet tracking every single order to the T, like on those spreadsheets and backing them up and having an archive for all of them just in case you really need to go back like years and years to find something. Also having a dedicated email filter really helps as well.
Yeah, the dedicated email is a big one. And you really don't have to get too fancy with it. Just have doing a Google sheet. Like all we do is here's the ASIN I bought. Here's all the order numbers for the purchases I made today. And then if you buy the same product a month later, you're making another line and you're just searching through and you've got it all documented. It's not like the most scientific thing in the world, but people, they're just dumping way too much time into stuff that doesn't matter when 99% of the time it's just like going down to product source.
Get any more complicated than it needs to be. Just make sure those order numbers are in there. That's all that really matters.
Awesome. Yes. Really appreciate you breaking down the Section 3 appeal process for us. Did you have to get on the phone with anyone? Was there any kind of extra legwork that you ended up having to do? Is it really just grab my invoices, more invoices, and gradually they just approve it after that?
Yeah. After I submitted the second appeal, that's when I really started to annoy Amazon with calling. During that time period, like it was taking over an hour to get on the phone with them. So you can tell that they were just dealing with so much this Section 3 stuff. So I would call. If I didn't hear a native speaker, I would immediately hang up and then call back until I found someone who was higher rank and I explained to them my issue. And actually the last phone call that I made in the past, it was taking a week on the dot to get a response. And I made one call to somebody. I don't even remember the logistics of what the call was even about. But after that call, like it was approved like 3 days. So I assume all it had something to do with it. Annoying Amazon's definitely probably to help you.
Yeah, especially during the time you were fighting is when tons of accounts were getting it. Hopefully they're going to just start seeing a little bit of a trickle of that. And and all that kind of stuff. So that does make sense that the phones are overwhelmed, but you can't be afraid. If you guys are in this situation where your business is on the line, like Andrew's business is on the line, like you got to be able to pick up the phone. And I think I was even trying to give you some like intel when you're fighting through that, like how to get on the phone to them and stuff.
And more exactly, because I know they're reading off scripts and everything. I'm like,
Yeah.
what exactly do I need to tell them?
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Really appreciate you kind of breaking that section 3 appeal process down for us. Was there anything that we didn't mention? Is there any kind of best practices you want to let people know how you maybe got through it? Anything you're tracking now that you weren't before? Like, you have any last words of advice to really stay safe in your account?
Yeah, no, just take it super seriously the first time around if it does happen to you. Other than that, yeah, no, nothing's really changed. I'm still tracking things the way that I always have been.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah. And moving forward, we don't want to end this on the pessimistic, I beat my case or all that kind of stuff. I guess it's not pessimistic to say you beat the case, but what's 2024 going to look for you? What's your business goals? Where are you going to be changing trajectory at all, or just full steam ahead?
Yeah, outsourcing most of the major daunting tasks like purchasing and lead review and some admin stuff as well is definitely a priority on my list. And with that all set in place, I should be set to do 2 to 3 million next.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm super excited to see it happen. If Andrew can go through the process of potentially getting your account on the line, you guys at home watching this video, hopefully you're a little less discouraged. He's still doubling down in his business. Hopefully you can see that if you're doing things by the book, sometimes you might run into some headaches, but you are going to be able to power through it as an Amazon seller. Again, really appreciate you sharing the value here, Andrew. If they want to shoot you a DM, follow you, where can they find you?
Yeah, on Instagram, I believe it's FBA Juggernaut, and I just made a new YouTube account too, and I'd love to send you that in a different.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll get them both linked down below. So if you guys want to check out the YouTube, check out the Instagram, shoot them a DM, say, hey, thanks for hopping on, sharing some value. Really appreciate you guys watching this video. Let us know if you have any questions or comments down below. Always happy to answer those for you. Also hit the subscribe, like, that kind of stuff to help me out with the YouTube algorithm. But I really appreciate you guys watching this video, and I will see you next time.